Well, are we recording if we're not really doing a meeting?
That's practice. Make sure we don't take any action.
What's up? I mean, it's fine to run through, obviously. Although, like I said, I don't know on some of these things, even the conversations, if it's really worth getting into it if we don't have everybody's input.
No, but I think the majority of stuff we can get through in just a few seconds, just to kind of keep you guys in the loop. Fortunately, 8C, I really did need approval on. Kind of in a tough spot if we don't.
It sounds like it's going to be a special meeting.
Yeah.
Or I can text Jody to see if she'll, she had a vet emergency, but see if she does have an ETA. Guessing she would. She won't.
I got all these things around for another month. I'm gonna leave them here.
I said, didn't you leave them here last month?
No,
Over in the corner there?
those are just for your eye, where you could see them. What I was talking about. There's a lot more, there's there's dozens of them.
That what you got out in the car or something?
That's what I brought in and they, and,
Well, there was your first mistake there, Rose.
wouldn't be my first, I'll tell you that much.
First one today.
First one today, let me see.
Pretty good if you got this far in the day.
I built a whole wall just to tear it back down because I mismeasured one of the 15 pieces of 2x4 by a quarter inch. Had to tear the whole wall down. It was weight bearing walls. Had to tear the whole thing down.
Well, then I guess I'm forgiven for mine.
I literally accomplished nothing this morning.
Oh, that's awful.
Rebuild the.
I've texted Ms. Arp, but otherwise, I mean, I don't, if we have to call a special meeting or if a digital vote is acceptable or what you need to do.
Yeah, I'll have to think on it for a second. But, I mean, my recommendation is we go through the agenda real quick. We can discuss each point.
All right, well, I'm not gonna do, I will do a roll call and declare that we have no meeting. So I will call the meeting to order if we can stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag.
To the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Ms. Arp is excused. Mr. Byer is excused. Ms. Ensley is excused. Ms. Conley is excused. Ms. Howland.
Here.
Ms. Powell.
Here.
Mr. Ringler is here. Mr. Friesinger was excused, and Mr. Wilks.
Here.
All right, we do not have a quorum, so this will not be an official meeting. We will take no action today. I'll briefly run through this very informally. Do we have any public comment? Ex parte, again, not appropriate for today. It was not an official meeting. We don't really have a formal agenda. We cannot move to approve the consent agenda, so that will move on to the next meeting. Discussion on the cold storage doors. Okay, Ms. Arp cannot make it.
So, and City Hall moved to get the cold storage building painted. It included the garage doors. The painter proposed US flag or something, but it was significantly more money than the city wanted to pay for it. And then when I got back from vacation, I saw that the doors had not been painted. Discussion at this board, I don't know what's going on.
What was brought up at the last meeting, I think we saw the mural and we had concerns also with the cost of the mural and whether that was going to be durable enough. I did do an inquiry myself on on one of the what they would call them, places that do truck wraps, vehicle wraps. That might be a more durable and less expensive solution if we wanted to put something on there.
So I guess my first question is, I've never once thought of the garage doors as being a place to put a mural. I thought, part of the point of DDA's their art was to make it visible to the public, which would make the front of the building the more desirable location. So I guess the question is, does the board want me to pursue the garage doors as a potential future mural location? Or, like we've generally done in the past, do we want to pick a location somewhere in the community? We do have $5,000 set aside for this. And pursue some other mural at that.
I don't know, speaking for everybody else, I didn't even know that this was on the table until the last meeting. But I think I'm motivated to have art wherever we can, so it doesn't bother me if whether it's on the side or on the front of the building or both, but
Did have a discussion at this DDA at one time to
Yeah,
put
a year
something
ago.
across the front of the building. I personally didn't feel like our American flag belonged on garage doors. Private home maybe, but not here. So maybe we can figure out something to put on the front of the cold storage. Takes as long as it did the last time, really.
Well,
It'll take a while.
yeah, and so I guess the bigger question is, we've got $5,000 to spend on a mural. We try to do one of these per year. Is there a different location or a better location that we should be?
well, the other places we talked about was the side of the building across from Todd, right? Where the photography studio was. I didn't know that we had any other locations in mind outside from the fence that was on this south side of Todd's that no longer
That's where
exists.
we're going, yeah.
Are they gonna do anything with that, or is that done?
Last I heard from him, he was having difficulty with the property owner next door that they wanted to reinstall a fence. I don't know.
We also discussed the fact that the front of the cold storage is a city building and we wouldn't have to deal with a private.
I think it's a nice place to put something, but whether we want to do, as you said, American flags on a garage door, but
Well, so as you guys are aware, the city received a $212,000 grant for the park at 17 North Main Street. I think there's going to be a fence as part of that project. Maybe we save the fence, 15-year-old.
all is a fence.
I don't know yet. Probably be probably about 8 foot tall. It'll back western portion to block off that kind of alleyway from the back. Okay, well, so at this point, I don't feel like we have a direction on the mural, so we'll bring that back to the full board in the future.
Good idea.
Well, I guess what would be the DDA director's preference for the front or for those doors? So I think you're kind of waiting whether you're gonna just paint the garage doors, correct?
Well, so again, I don't know where this came from. I turned down the offer. And I told them just paint the doors the way we originally planned.
Mhm.
And then I came back from vacation and it was still going on. And now I don't think the garage is gonna be painted for Red Flannel Day, which I'm not happy about. So I just didn't know, did this board direct my staff to do something or what am I missing?
It was dropped on us in the last
It was-
meeting.
It was dropped on us in the last meeting.
We had no idea.
Because I don't believe I added it to your agenda.
I think it's painted though. I looked at it the other day. It looks like it was done.
Wasn't the last time I looked.
Yeah, they were working on a few days ago.
And if you do the wraps, the stick-on things, those, you can put those over paint. So if it's something at some point we want to do, and those would be more durable on a flexible door like that. Anyway. Okay. Discussion on the DDA, the red flannel pendants.
Ms. Powell?
There they are. We can't vote on them, but there was definitely some interest from DDA members to have them in their businesses. Mr. Byers, seemed to think they should be given to DDA members. I don't know what direction to go to. I think there should be some nominal price on them, maybe as a fundraiser for DDA somehow. You know, at least a few.
They belong to DDA or they belong to red flannel still?
DDA. Red Flannel has given permission to continue to use them with the symbols on. I can get the minutes if we needed to. But we can't vote right now, so.
But so I guess my question is, you want the board to offer them up for sale or give them away at some point for, I guess, decoration at private businesses? Is that the intent?
I guess if somebody buys them, they can do whatever they want to with them, in my opinion. And, want to hang them up in their business or
take
hang
one.
them up in their home, whatever.
I'd definitely hang one up in the bakery.
There you go.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we'll
whether
have
you
to-
hung them up or stretched them on a stretcher, you know, to hang them like wall art.
So maybe at the next meeting, then I'll just put a motion to offer them up for sale for a nominal price. You know, whatever money comes in, we could.
Mm-hmm.
And then we can set a price.
Yep.
There's a lot more of the green ones, and I will say there is not, does not say Cedar Springs on it. It has no real connection to Cedar Springs.
Well, and so I'm sure some will be more popular than others.
Oh, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
The question's gonna be, what do we do with the ones that are not bought?
that's true.
Because we hate to store things forever and ever if they're just gonna.
Again, put them on the marketplace and available.
You want to do it?
Put them on the marketplace, yes, absolutely, I could do that.
We'll buy
You could
'em.
do that? Okay.
Anything that you got left over, yeah, you'd be
You
surprised.
can also donate things like that to Goodwill and for stuff that isn't necessarily used as material, but they'll take those materials and they'll make insulation and stuff out of them.
Mhm. The green ones are really heavy duty canvas.
Canvas,
You can
yeah.
Cover your snowmobile with it for, you know, for $5 or whatever. And,
What about the historical society?
I want to donate, we discussed donating, all four to the museum.
Mhm.
And, the one with the Keystone Cops to the fire department. Unfortunately, the ones with had that beautiful picture of the theater don't seem to exist anymore. And then there was another one that went with the second one here that doesn't exist anymore, a different style.
I like that.
So I guess next month we'll decide what to
Mhm.
do with them, but you know, if there's any left, put them on the marketplace,
Mm-hmm, yep, easy to sell.
because I think somebody will want them. I'm just not gonna spend the next
Yeah,
2
they've
years
got-
lugging them
They've
around.
got like a good holiday look. to
Yeah,
them,
they do.
so.
Okay, I'll put that on your agenda for next month.
Excellent.
Or next, whenever we can get a forum, how about that?
Concerts in the park and the movies.
Yep, so apparently I missed the discussion last time, you know, both concerts, I think were very down in attendees this year. And I just didn't feel like there were that many people going to the movie. But it was a first year event and the bridge has been out. I'm sure that affected turnout for both. You know, they're both, costly events, but they're also for what you get out of them, you know, do they bring enough people in town to make it worthwhile? And if you guys want to continue at least one more year and see how people turn out next year.
The board seemed motivated last month that we would continue these. I mean, I would say that, you know, speaking for ourselves, I think the concerts, we see a lot of activity from the concerts. And I think the vast majority of that budget is donated anyway, so it's not costing the DDA much.
We were told it was going to be donated this year and we never actually received it.
Yeah, that can probably be addressed too.
And then I guess follow-up question is, you know, did the Tuesday night movies and Wednesday night concerts work? Because we can always bring in more people by moving that to Friday, Saturday. But now you're kind of cutting into the normal busy that the town already sees.
Mhm.
So is this
You're gonna have-
intended to bring in crowds on their own? Or is this intended to bring in crowds on days where we would normally have them?
I would also move for the former. There's already parking issues down there.
I'm asking.
It'd be up to the theater whether we cut into their Friday, Saturday, Sunday too. They may not
Sure.
want that. They said, I did talk to Mark and he's like the general manager down there. He says you need more kids movies. They're a bigger draw. He said their concession did a great job. They really raked it in.
then I guess without objection, I'll start working on that. Talking to Hillary.
Shall we? I just talked to Kurt this morning. Should I ask about that donation?
If you speak with them, otherwise I don't. I just found out last week.
All right, and then, planning session.
Yeah, so apparently you guys chose a date, while I was out of town. Unfortunately, the person I had chosen to bring in was not available that date. So I listed here the dates that he did indicate would be available for him. So, you know, he didn't know if you guys want to do an afternoon session, if so, October 10th, 17th, 24th at about 1 p.m. Or, if you guys want to do more of a evening, afternoon session, Mondays or Thursdays, 5-ish, 6-ish would work for him. And, you know, again, so when we did this with the city council, we got No-No's Pizza, we did it at the fire station. It was kind of a nice animated brainstorming session. So I guess what are you guys looking for? And you just want me to pick a date and set it, and whoever shows up, shows up?
Are we paying someone to come in and like talk to us about
Yep.
strategies?
Similar to what we did with the city council.
I don't know, I mean, picking one of those Monday evenings, I think, and doing it outside of here would be, I mean, I'm fine with any of it. The 10th is a pretty booked day for me, but otherwise,
10th is very full for me. The other two, I think,
What days of the week
what
are
else?
they?
they're all Mondays.
Oh, all Mondays.
You guys want to do a Monday evening, 5 or 6?
that's fine.
Not the 10th.
Not the 10th, if I can avoid the 10th.
Works for me. Any of those dates on a Monday works.
You guys want to have it catered? You want me to get food for us?
And, yeah, I mean, why not? Yeah, Nonos wants to do
Food,
something.
food tends to bring people to two things.
Yes, it
Is-
does.
is when you give people stuff, they show up.
Well, yes, and especially since it's gonna be 5 or 6 p.m.
What's the brewery menu there, Mr. Ringler?
Well, we can do two, we can also spread it out to other businesses, so. Obviously, we're happy to, but,
Well, I will speak with the person and.
well, Nonos is not open on Mondays.
Well, then I'll talk to somebody else. But the 17th is probably gonna be my choice because I think my wife is looking to get away on the 24th. So, let's plan for the 17th, pending discussing it with Mr. Waterman. I'll bring him for you.
Why wouldn't we have, the brewery?
We're happy to do it, I'm just
Talk to 'em about
suggesting that we can.
Price and whatever.
Okay,
There you go.
Columbus Day. that is the 10th. We can't do
Well,
that, so
yeah.
the 17th we'll probably do it.
Okay, and then, Heart of Cedar Springs letter of support, so we need some letters from businesses.
Yeah, well, businesses or individuals, so I did supply the DNR a number of, letters of support. Despite one of them coming from the CBDT, they told me that all my letters were from government people, and that was not acceptable. So,
Mm,
you guys could find some time to write a letter of support about how the Heart of Cedar Springs updates parking area, natural playground, etc. Would benefit you as a citizen or business. I appreciate that. I do.
Address it to.
I put it in there.
Did?
To the,
Did?
manual report, I think.
Mm,
But to the DNR, generally speaking, you could send it to City Hall, but address it to the DNR. Regarding the Heart of Cedar Springs, park project. And could you get those to me this week, because they are due by the 30th.
And don't forget to mention all of our work we've done with the DNR with the ponds and the water draining into the ponds and the butterfly garden and the plantings. They probably know about a lot of that, but
I
we've
find
worked,
oftentimes the state of Michigan has a left-hand, right-hand problem.
yeah, kind of like the city. You don't always know what's going on.
Sometimes, very rarely. But if you could, I'd appreciate that.
Yeah. And our trout stream, all kinds of good stuff.
All right, then, we have a revised budget for next year, it looks like.
Yeah, unfortunately, it looks like so this board has three TIF districts. And I don't know the history of that, but they're separated into three different districts. Apparently, we counted one of them twice, which is resulting in a loss of $21,000 for the budget year. Which I guess I'm both surprised and not surprised by. Your $68,000 budget was a significant increase from the previous 30 something. So it's now being reflected to 47, which is still a good increase, but not as high as we thought. That also might result in a loss of $14,000 in fund balance, which should put you at about 63 for current fund balance.
Well, we hadn't spent it, so.
Well, the
Right.
board has been good about saving money, which I think will be important when we get to strategic planning. Because I think there's gonna be an opportunity for you guys to start taking some bigger steps beyond the, concerts in the park and the flowers in the flower parks. You guys could really start getting towards buying buildings, renovating them, matching grants, stuff like that. Not the worst thing in the world, but just unfortunate we had to do it.
All right, we can't take the motion, calendar. And then the right place.
If I could though, talk about that $10,000 match real quick though. So, the DNR apparently changed their rules recently for how you get points for this project. Currently, I don't think we're approvable, although they're very, nebulous with how they do things. So I need 9,000 some odd dollars, from some source to get us to the extra points. I was hoping that this body meeting already today and having a fund balance of 10,000 would be able to put me up $9,000. Right now, obviously, without having a forum, I can't do that. So I don't know if we'll be able to meet later this week before the 30th, or if I'll have to try to get city council to meet sometime.
Well, I would suggest, I mean, obviously a couple of these things were ran with Dave, but even if we can do a quick evening meeting, we may be able to get the mayor. We just catch everybody at 5:30 or something. It'll take 5 minutes.
So I'll see about calling around and see if I can get that done sometime this week.
Any,
I mean, we're talking about $300,000 to $600,000 at this $9,000. And obviously, if the project doesn't go through, you don't spend the money.
Okay, and then you had a right place correspondence.
That's the $212,000 that we got for the 17 North Main project. City Council, I believe, already indicated that they would make up the small difference that we lost there. But we should be seeing a park revitalization at that location next spring or summer sometime.
Cool. At some point, perhaps we can also, with concurrent with that, we might want to bring up the social districts again. I'm finding one day a week that nobody knows.
I suspect that I'll be sitting down with the affected parties at some point here shortly to discuss a plan for next year. Because I don't understand the opposition in the city council. I think over the last 2 or 3 years that we've been doing this, we've seen virtually no problem. I think the bigger problem is, we have concerts in the park and people seem to, want to drink a beer during the concert, and that's great. But on a day-to-day basis, if you grab a beer in the city, where are you going to go to drink? I just don't see a lot of interest in that or knowledge about it, as you indicated, but you gotta have interest in wanting to do it first.
There's walking areas into that park, and as we have this new park developed, I think there are a couple of places, so.
So I agree. I think if we have a good bead on when this project will be done, I think that might be more convincing. But yeah, I think we just need to do a little convincing of the city council that A, it hasn't been a problem, and B, that there's interest for it.
All right, well, I think we kind of went through the manager's reports. If anybody has any comments, but this is not a formal meeting. So, anything else on anybody's mind?
Do we have any timeline on getting the, old White House behind the brewery torn down?
Yeah, so, interesting. So the CBDT, bought the property and then went to John Stout to get the deed, taken care of.
Mhm.
Somebody from the CBDT showed up at City Hall and gave the clerk a copy of the deed. We then tried to call both DTE and consumers to get the electricity and gas turned off and removed so we can get it demoed. Only upon doing that, did we discover that the deed was never actually registered with the county register of deeds, which is required for ownership.
Yeah.
So after discovering that, last Thursday, I personally went down and reported it. And then on Friday morning, I came into City Hall and contacted consumers, and they're scheduled to disconnect electricity this week. Obviously, we're cutting it awfully close
Mhm.
for Flannel Day, so I don't know if we'll be able to demo before that date. But we're doing the best we can on this.
Better late than never.
Good, it'll be good to see.
Yeah.
Already looks a lot better in the heart. You have anything on post op?
It's the bridge. Is there a final date?
From what I understand, they actually have the deck poured. So I don't know if it's pedestrian safe. And I told these guys, I'm not sure we want to make it inviting for people to walk across. Liabilities.
Mhm.
I've heard anywhere between mid-October to late October. Second I know, we'll let everybody know. And then the hope is that we'll put together a small celebration, ribbon cutting, et cetera, to mark the opening of the bridge. But the second I know, I'll probably send it out to all the board members.
Okay.
To extend a temporary social district to the bridge.
You know what? I would totally not be opposed.
I'm 100% behind that idea.
With donuts.
I will be there with or without bells. I haven't decided yet.
Well, it's gonna be Rice Krispie treats.
Krispy treats, I'll definitely do. I'm talking about bells. Ding, ling, 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 ling.
Fine.
You two asked the questions that I had, so I'm good. All right, again, not a formal meeting, but that's what we have. Yep, thank you.
Formally adjourned.
Formally adjourned.